Thank you for hanging with us. You're watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win. I'm Lisa Kerney. We are live in our Los Angeles studio. I'm alongside our sports betting expert, Dave Weaver, our analytics expert, and Ed Egros. You guys know these guys by now. It is week 14. We have a ton of great matchups ahead of us with playoff implications. We're going to get to all of them. Dave, Ed, and the rest of our experts breaking down the biggest games of the week, handing out best bets, and of course, we have our best value DFS plays as well. It is go time, so make sure you download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, sign up for your new account, plug in that promo code. It'll be on your screen all show long. More Ways 1000. You're going to get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. All right, time to kick this thing off. And we're going big right out of the gate. How about this? The 7-5 Bills head to Tampa Bay to take on the 9-3 Buccaneers. Yes, I am psyched for this matchup. Buffalo ready to get back at it, coming off that home loss on Monday night against New England, where the Bills gave up 222 yards rushing in that massive, chill, cold wind snowstorm. On the other side, the BUCS tied with the second best record in the NFC. And this should be a great game if you like scoring. The BUCS rank first in the NFL in points per game. The Bills ranked fifth. Tampa Bay, a 3-point home favorite. David, Ed, that just tells me Bills are getting some respect here in this matchup, and they should, despite the recent volatility, I think. Dave, how are you betting this one?
Or should they? I don't know. I mean, 7-5 is a very disappointing record. I thought that they would go to the Super Bowl. I'm not feeling that right now for Buffalo. We know Tom Brady will throw the ball more than 3 times, like Mac Jones did last week. But here's the deal with Tampa Bay. They're just great at home. 4-0 against the spread their last 4 games, covering by an average of 15 points in those games. And Buffalo hasn't really played anybody. They played the Chiefs, who they beat. They played the Patriots, who they lost. Everybody else not really that good. They've beaten Davis Mills, Mike White, Trevor Siemian, Jacoby Brissett, Tyler Heineke, backup quarterbacks that weren't started at the beginning of the year. This is a real acid test for the Buffalo defense. I don't think they can handle what Tampa's going to do. I think this line is way too small. I'm surprised it's only 3, actually.
That is why I think they're getting a lot of respect, and I don't think they're done yet. What do you think?
I think part of the reason is because a lot of people are just throwing out the Monday game altogether because the conditions, the elements were just a little bit too weird, and I understand that. But if you look at overall passing numbers, take away that game that dropped Buffalo's passing attack from 7th to 10th. It's still worse than Tampa Bay's. Tampa Bay's has been better despite all of the injuries when Gronk has missed some time. Antonio Brown may not be back. Whatever's going on, still, Tom Brady is able to right this ship, and that matters significantly. Yes, the Bills' defense is a little bit banged up, certainly losing Tre'Davious White. That matters significantly here, but no matter what metric you look at, there's nothing that suggests that Josh Allen can outgun Tom Brady. I'm going to do the super conservative thing because I think this line is pretty sharp. I'm just going to take Tampa Bay on the money line at -178. I know it's a little bit lame here, but I'm comfortable that at least the BUCS can win this game, regardless of what silly things might occur.
Have you watched anything this season? I am telling you, you can't predict anything. 44-year-old Tom Brady, #1 in passing yards, #1 in passing touchdowns, #1 in your heart. Cole Wright. Tampa Bay, by the way, matching their best start in franchise history. Cole Wright knows all of that. Time for our right take here with our NFL expert. Cole, which team do you have winning, and by how many points in this matchup?
Well, Father Time, he's at home trying to figure out how to take down Tom Brady like Tom was trying to figure out how to catch Jerry in that mousetrap. And here we are. And maybe everyone's going to finally believe me when I say that the Buffalo Bills are flat out overrated. They dropped 3 of their last 5 to Jacksonville, Indy, and New England. And they haven't beaten a team with a winning record since Kansas City, and that was week 5. Now, in the meantime, don't look now, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a well-oiled machine. Their #1 overall passing offense, well, it should be good enough to offset that #1 overall defense by the Buffalo Bills. And hell, maybe we'll see Tom Brady and Bruce Arians employ a Navy midshipman kind of offense like we saw Bill Belichick and the Patriots do on Monday night, because plain and simple, Buffalo couldn't stop it. Go Tampa Bay in this one, 28-17. They get the W.
I can't wait for them to win by only 2. And then, yeah, the money line was the play there for Tampa Bay. All right, you guys, if you roll with Brady and the BUCS, give the points there. A winning $50 bet means you're going to collect more than $93. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. All right, let's get to this AFC West showdown at Arrowhead this week, featuring the 8-4 Chiefs and the 6-6 Raiders. We're looking at two teams here headed in opposite directions. The Chiefs have won 5 straight, including a 22-9 win against the Broncos last week to maintain that top spot in this division. Then the Raiders lost to Washington last week. They've dropped 4 of 5 while averaging less than 15 points per game in those losses. Here we are, the Chiefs giving 8.5 points in this one. Dave, how are you betting this matchup?
Well, I just can't believe how good Kansas City has gotten on defense. The first 5 games this season, they gave up 29 points or more, 5 games in a row. Their last 5 games, they've given up 17 points or less. Just a complete 180, and I think that their defense is going to be too much. Raiders were so good against this team last year. They put up a lot of points. In their only matchup this year, the Chiefs outgained them 516 yards to 299. So this is a spot where I just think the Raiders are tail spinning. They're flat. I can't back Las Vegas.
Well, I disagree with you, Dave. I'm going to take the Raiders in this matchup. Derek Carr's kind of a road warrior. It's really funny with him this year. The Raiders have gone to Pittsburgh and won. They went to Dallas on Thanksgiving. I think this line is too big. The first matchup was all Chiefs. But I think the Raiders hang around and make this a competitive game. I'm going to roll with Vegas.
All right, let's get a bit deeper on this Raiders-Chiefs matchup here. And we're going to use next-gen stats to get an analytical perspective on this game. Thanks, guys. Hey, the NFL analyzes the location, speed, acceleration of every player on every play and creates these various data sets that we here at More Ways to Win get to tap into. So I always turn to our analytics guy, Ed. Ed, I want you to give us a stat that you're using to bet this Las Vegas-Kansas City game.
So it is the holiday season, and my wish this holiday season is that we never, ever use wins as a stat to evaluate quarterbacks. Let's look at Pat Mahomes. He is not playing well despite this winning streak, as seen in this pass chart from last week. He did not throw a ton, just 29 times, but completed roughly half of his passes, with a completion percentage over expected of negative 20.4%. That's in the bottom 3 of all starters in Week 13. 2 important things to look for to see if CPOE is a legitimate stat here. Was the quarterback pressured, and did the receivers drop the ball a lot? Well, Mahomes was pressured 20% of the time. That's not that much, folks, and his receivers dropped 3 passes. That's not good, but that's not a lot. Mahomes has been playing at this mediocre level for a while now, and I just cannot back the Chiefs in such a large spread, so I'm going to lean Raiders.
I'm going to pretend like you didn't say any of that. Thanks a lot, Ed.
Happy holidays.
As a Kansas City girl, I have to move on here. Awesome stuff by Ed. Great insight into those numbers. Next level info from Next Gen Stats. Ed made his pick, but you can do you. Roll with me, you know. If you want to take Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs giving those points, a winning $50 bet means you're going to collect more than $93. And a reminder, you can make your first bet on the app risk-free. Just sign up for a new FanDuel Sportsbook account using the promo code MOREWAYS1000. You'll get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Again, that's promo code MOREWAYS1000. Time now for our DFS download. Of course, that means a chance to win millions in prizes for free. Yes, FanDuel's hooking it up for you for free. We do it every week. Just head to FanDuel.com, sign up for the weekly DFS contest. Get your friends, your fam, your coworkers. Compete each week for free. Just sign up, set your roster, play, and win. Of course, our job here on More Ways to Win is to help you score as many points as possible. So FanDuel editor-in-chief JJ Zacharyson is in the house with us with his best values for Week 14. Hey, JJ.
Hey, Lisa, we're waiting to hear what's going to happen with Elijah Mitchell because he is in concussion protocol. And as we know, Mitchell's been seeing a lot of work in that San Francisco backfield. If he doesn't go, and with Jeff Wilson banged up with a knee flare-up, JaMychal Hasty becomes a very attractive value at just $4,700. The 49ers have been the 3rd most run-heavy team in football this year, and this week they get a Bengals defense that ranks 6th in adjusted fantasy points allowed to running backs. Some things do need to break Hasty's way before Sunday, but those things can very well happen, and that makes him a nice value. Next, there's Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore's been crushing it. He's seen at least 33% of New York's targets in each of his last 2 games, and he hasn't seen fewer than 6 targets in a game since Week 7. And since Week 9, only Justin Jefferson is averaging more fantasy points per game than Elijah Moore is. So at $6,300, he's a great value because of his recent usage and performance. And then lastly, the last value I like this week, Javonte Williams. Williams saw 85% of Denver's running back rushes this past week and an insane 25% target share. That was without Melvin Gordon. At the time of this recording, we don't know if Melvin Gordon's going to go or not this weekend. But you could make the argument that even if Gordon is active, Williams is a good play at $6,700 because Denver gets Detroit. Detroit's been the fourth friendliest team to running backs this season in fantasy football, and after Williams' big performance, would anyone be shocked that Denver gives more work to the rookie Javonte Williams? So he should find your lineup at just $6,700.
There you have it. Thank you, JJ. Go to FanDuel.com and sign up for free DFS competitions right now and each week of this NFL season. Hey, use JJ's information for a chance to win millions in prizes. Follow our guru at Late Round QB on Twitter and Instagram as well. Right now, let's get back to our game previews, and for that, we head to the AFC North and Cleveland, where the 6-6 Browns host the 8-4 Ravens. These two teams just faced off in Week 12. You see the Browns coming off a bye, meaning they're playing Baltimore now 2 games in a row. Cleveland lost the Week 12 matchup in Baltimore that game, 16-10, rushing for just 40 yards. That was a season low. Meanwhile, the Ravens are coming off a tough loss. Lost by 1 point in Pittsburgh after a failed 2-point conversion with just 12 seconds to go in that game. A thriller for the fans for sure. Baltimore now getting 2.5 on the road this week. Ed, which side do you like?
Well, when you talk about the quarterback matchup here, I think it's really important to keep in mind that if a quarterback is out there, it doesn't mean that they are 100% healthy. When Baker Mayfield hurt his shoulder after Week 6, he just hasn't been the same quarterback. Since that injury, his total EPA when not pressured, which is a stable metric, it's only 2. That's almost worse than average. Total EPA on a 4-man rush, meaning the defense isn't blitzing, negative 13.6. And then total EPA on short throws from 0 to 9 air yards, it's just 3.2. It's not very strong. So all those stable metrics that you can look at without pressure, short throws, Baker Mayfield is really struggling. I get Lamar Jackson hasn't been playing well lately, but it hasn't been this bad. So I'm going to take not just the Ravens to cover, but the Ravens to win outright.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Browns. If there was ever a defense for Baker Mayfield to get right against, it's Baltimore. They're different than the team he saw a couple of weeks ago. Their number 1 corner, Marlon Humphrey's out for the year. Such a depleted secondary that John Harbaugh said that's why he went for 2 at the end of the Steelers game, walking wounded at cornerback. The Ravens come into this game, Lisa, 31st against the pass. I think the Browns settled the score. They cover and win.
I want to give a special shout out for our viewers with us in Chicago watching on NBC Sports Chicago. Hey, right now we're going to break down the Bears Week 14 matchup sitting at 4-8. Bears aren't going far for this one, guys. Headed to Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers, who are sitting at 9-3. Chicago is getting 12.5 points on the road here. Cole Wright, you are in Chicago, so curious to get your take here. But Dave Weaver, I want to start with you. Let's get your pick first.
Well, I mean, this is just too big of a rivalry for the spread to be as big as this. 12.5 points. I went back to 1997. The Packers have only covered against the Bears once as a double-digit favorite, and that was in 2011 when the Bears didn't cover by a point with Josh McCown, a quarterback who was starting his first game in 4 years. Khalil Bell was their running back, and their receiver, one of them was Dane Sanzenbacher. Okay, enough said. That you're supposed to cover against those guys. Too big of a rival for me to be laying that many points. The Bears' last 5 games, by the way, they've kept them close, 11 or less, against teams like the Ravens and the Cardinals. I don't see why they couldn't cover this one, Cole.
Well, I'm not falling for that Bears banana in the tailpipe again because they failed me time and time again. It's the league's oldest rivalry, and despite the Bears being 4 games under 500, they have mustered up the ability to stick in ball games. We saw 22 points versus Arizona, but they allowed 33, and that was the 4th time this year they've allowed 30 or more points. Now, Chicago, they are top 10 in defense and rushing, but that all sounds great. But what do the Packers do? And what do they do well? Well, they take away what you do well, and they do it extremely well. So that 6th-ranked defense for Mike Pettin and company, that should be able to stop what the Bears bring to the table. Plus, Green Bay, they won the last 5 versus the Bears, so let's just go ahead and make it a smooth 6. Green Bay, they win in this one, and they cover 34-21.
Now to those bright lights on Monday night, guys, and a huge matchup for the NFC West and the NFC Conference standings here. The 8-4 Rams travel to Arizona to face the 10-2 Cardinals. Hey, are the Rams back? ended their 3-game skid. Big win, 37-7 over Jacksonville. I know everybody at home's going, it's Jacksonville. I know. Wide receiver Cooper Kupp, having a historic season here, became the first player in NFL history with at least 100 catches and 10 receiving touchdowns in the first 12 games of a season. On fire. As for the Cardinals, Kyler Murray returned from an ankle injury that caused him to miss 3 games. He came to play, though, threw for 2 touchdowns, ran for 2 more in Arizona's 33-22 win at Chicago. Cardinals giving 2.5 points in this matchup. Pony, give me your pick here.
Yeah, I think the Rams clearly have made a trend or a history this year of beating up on the Patsies, the really weak teams like they did against Jacksonville. I like him in this spot, though. I mean, Kyler Murray, it's one thing to beat Andy Dalton. Stafford rebounded last week. His confidence is soaring. When I've got a game where I don't think there's going to be a huge home field advantage, Dave, and I think that the underdog can win the game outright, I'm going to take the 2.5 points. Give me the Rams.
What about when Kyler Murray beat Matthew Stafford in week number 4 by like whatever it was, 3 touchdowns or so? This was a blowout in L.A. This line seems small to me. Obviously, they're getting a lot of respect after beating Jacksonville last week, but the Cardinals are for real. Cole's known it all year long. They are going to probably shatter their franchise record of 13 wins they got back in 2015. They do play the Cowboys on the road down the line, but I don't see why they couldn't win this game and go on to win at least 15 this year. I'll take Arizona. So I think this is the first time all year, at least, that I picked against the Rams, and Pony takes them. Weird.
Yeah, now it's on the record. Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right, you guys, we use next-gen stats on this show because that is what we do. We dig a little bit deeper here. Ed used the next-gen stats to bet the Raiders-Chiefs game earlier in the show. Now I wanted to give us 3 bets that you're using this next-level data and these next-gen stats that are really going to give us good value on the FanDuel Sportsbook app here in Week 14. What do you got?
I'm surprised the segment's still going on after all the Pat Mahomes hate that I spewed out earlier, but hey.
Hey, I'm a hometown girl. Get a little, you talk barbecue and Pat Mahomes, and I get a little spicy.
I understand. So we'll move on to Nashville because the Titans are a comfortable minus 1,200 to win the AFC South. But what hasn't been comfortable is this Titans offense over the last few weeks. Here is Ryan Tannehill's quarterback grid for the season. The short throws from 0 to 10 yards, they're good relative to the rest of the league. But specifically, I want to talk about the importance of play action in making Tannehill effective. When Derrick Henry was healthy, the Titans ran play action 27% of the time. But lately, it's down to 20%. Tannehill's total expected points added with play action is a solid 5.4, but without it, it's negative 19.9. You do not need a frightening run game to have effective play action. With the Titans coming off a week to retool, I believe they will embrace more play action and cover against the Jaguars. Next, Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey is out for the year, and just like the last time Carolina faced Atlanta, they must turn to the backups. Here's how Chuba Hubbard played from that Week 8 game. 82 yards and 24 carries sounds like a lot, but Next Gen shows us it should have been a lot more, given the defense and how the average running back would have performed. Hubbard's rushing yards over expected was negative 37, one of the worst performances of the week, especially given the workload. He had a successful run just 42% of the time. This performance explains why Amir Abdullah has been used more as a utility back, because he has a higher success rate with every individual carry. That adjustment means I'm going to lay the points against Atlanta. Finally, is Russell Wilson back from that hand injury? Well, that should be good news for Tyler Lockett, right? As seen by his route chart from Sunday's win over the 49ers. Lockett showcased his versatility running a variety of routes. It was a medium to deep threat. His air yards per target was a solid 12.2 yards. His expected completion percentage over expected was an astounding 28.1%, one of the larger marks of the week. And he was only double-teamed 12.5% of the time, meaning the defense gave Wilson opportunities to sling it to Lockett. It's only 1 week, and I say it all the time, do not succumb to recency bias, but against the Texans, who are sputtering out of control, I'm laying the points.
You actually do say that a lot. I think you have reminded us each and every week of this season.
I do that.
Awesome stuff, Ed. Thank you. Now you can take that information, use it to place your bets on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. You can place a wager on the bets, hey, we just talked about, or hundreds of others. They're all available for you right now. Again, that's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. All right, team, time to focus on our betting markets with some game previews here. We're shouting out your local teams as we rip through more of the Week 14 slate. Let's go. FanDuel Sportsbook breakdowns, we're starting now. We've got Washington hosting Dallas. And hey, special shout out for our viewers in Virginia watching with us on NBC Sports Washington. Always love having you with us. The football team proved to 6-6 after beating the Raiders last week to win their 4th game in a row. They host the 8-4 Cowboys, who lead the NFC East. Dave Weaver, Washington is getting 4. How do you play it?
They were 2-6, by the way. So they've won 4 games in a row since their bye week. Did you say they're giving 4 or getting 4? They're getting 4, then the game must be in Dallas. No, the game's in Washington. They're hot, and they're getting 4 points. To me, Washington's the play in this game. Here's something weird. 17-15. That score has happened 14 times in the history of the league. Washington has won 17-15 2 weeks in a row. So let's go crazy. Washington wins 17-15.
And here we go with our FanDuel Sportsbook Week 14 preview for the New York Giants. Special shout out to our viewers watching with us on MSG as we get right into it here, guys. The G-Men fell to 4-8 with a loss against the Dolphins last week. New York has only scored 1 touchdown in 2 games since firing offensive coordinator Jason Garrett here. Andrew Filipponi, Giants are on the road here at the 7-5 Chargers, getting 9.5.
Yeah, and I know Daniel Jones, Mike Glennon. I mean, this is not an ideal situation for the Giants whatsoever. However, Chargers, volatility is the word. They're up, they're down, they're up, they're down. They beat Philly, they lose to Denver, they beat the Steelers, they lose to the Vikings, they go to Cincinnati and win. So it's their turn to have a letdown, Lisa. Follow that pattern. Take the Giants in this game with the big points.
And I want to welcome in our friends watching with us on Altitude in Colorado. Let's talk Broncos, shall we? Right? The team fell to 6-6 after a loss in Kansas City last week. But hey, it is now week 14. And Denver gets the 1-10-1 Lions, who just picked up their first win of the season. Ed, how about that?
Wow.
They were in Minnesota last week with that win. Here they are. Ed Egros joining me now. The Broncos are giving 9.5 at home. How are you betting this game?
Maybe it's a Lions letdown. Who knows? But I look at Teddy Bridgewater, and I'm going to put my faith in him one more time. I've talked about this all season long as far as Bridgewater, his great ability to throw short, 0 to 10 air yards, but he has also been outstanding against the blitz. His EPA per dropback ranks 3rd in football when a defense throws out 5 or more rushers. So what did Kansas City do in that last game? Well, they blitzed a little less. They dialed it back. Now, part of that was context, certainly, but also part of it was because Kansas City respects Teddy Bridgewater as a runner. Detroit, regardless if they blitz a lot or not that much, they have absolutely struggled generating quarterback pressures. I think this is an outstanding get-right spot for Bridgewater, and yeah, it's a big spread, but I think Denver can cover.
All right, New York, this one is for you. Our FanDuel Sportsbook Week 14 breakdown for your Jets. And shout out to all of you watching with us on MSG. Always love having you with us here. Gangrene fell to 3-9 after last week's loss to the Eagles. This week, Jets are hosting the 5-7 Saints. Cole Wright, Jets are getting 5.5. How do you feel about this game?
Well, Lisa, remember when the Saints, when they were 5-2, it seems like forever ago. Everyone was wearing 4-button suits, but they've now dropped 5 in a row with so many questions continuing at the quarterback position. But when it comes to all that uncertainty, the Jets, they're the consummate slump buster. So I have to go who dat and say the Saints get the win here 24-14.
Jets fans will be liking to hear that. Jets fans are home this week, which means the party this weekend is going down in New Jersey, and the FanDuel Sportsbook at the Meadowlands is the place to be. The FanDuel Sportsbook, you take a look inside here. Open 7 days a week. Watch, wager, and win with your favorite teams and players. The Sportsbook is located right across the parking lot from MetLife Stadium. It is so easy to get to, guys. On game day, just hop that free round-trip shuttle from Lot G. If you don't have a parking pass, that's all good, too. Head to Red's Restaurant in Carlstadt in New Jersey. Catch the $10 shuttle to MetLife. Then head to Lot G for that free ride to the FanDuel Sportsbook. Mass Transit, I say this every week, of course, available as well. Sunday's going to be absolutely hopping, so get your friends, come out for an awesome time at the Meadowlands and the FanDuel Sportsbook. Watch, wager, have fun with us, and win there with us at the FanDuel Sportsbook at the Meadowlands. Time now to give some underdogs a little love here on More Ways to Win. Cole, you've been rocking these moneyline moneymakers all season, including picking the Patriots win on the road in Buffalo on Monday night. Here we are now in week 14. Give us a couple underdogs that you think will win outright this week.
Well, the AFC North, the most good and terrible division in all of football, like Mr. Clarence from Coming to America fame said. Baltimore, only a 500 team on the road. In Cleveland division play, well, they're not much better. They're 1-2. So this win right here is going to give Lamar Jackson and those Ravens a little bit of breathing room. Go 27-21 Baltimore in this one. Then as we flip the coin, the Falcons, well, they've only won back-to-back games this season one time. That was weeks 5 and 6 versus the Jets and the Dolphins. But last time they crossed paths with Carolina, it was a 6-point home loss. Now, both teams sitting at 5 and 7, and I just can't roll with the Panthers here. They dropped 3 of their last 4. So I'm going with the Dirty Birds to get the W in this one, 21-13.
There it is. And if you're a smart bettor, you're going to just tail Cole's upset picks. But I totally respect if you do you and do your own thing. You can get a risk-free bet, by the way, up to $1,000. You can place that bet right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Just sign up for your new account. And for all of you new users, you will get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 just by using that promo code MOREWAYS1000. And it gets better on this show because our experts bet it for you. Ed, fist bump for you, by the way. You had the Seahawks on the alternate spread $-2.5. $1,000 risk-free bet. Collected $2,800 last week. So let's start with you. Give us your week 14 $1,000 risk-free bet.
There's a future that I really like in this. I'm just kidding. We're going to do an alternate spread once again. Yeah. Same game parlay, mind you. We're going to the Lions-Broncos game. Denver team total over 25.5 with an alternate spread Denver -13.5. I'm expecting a blowout here. Lions letdown game. $1,000 risk-free bet for more than $2,600.
I'm going to play a 3-team parlay, all underdogs. I don't think the Titans could even score 8.5 points. That's what they're favored by. Jacksonville covers there. Houston will cover against Seattle. Seattle was a home dog last week, and now they're on the road, favored by over a touchdown. No thank you. And, of course, going back to the Bears, too many points against the Packers. So a 3-team underdog parlay, 1,000 gets me almost $7,000.
Dave, I'm going to do a 3-game parlay, too, but I'm not betting spreads. I'm going to go with an under theme. They cash, too. You don't have to root for touchdowns in every game. Cleveland and Baltimore under with 2 struggling quarterbacks. Houston, Seattle with Davis Mills at quarterback for the Texans. And then Atlanta, Carolina, no Christian McCaffrey. You're going to collect over $6,000 if those 3 unders hit.
Yeah, defensive-minded. I dig it. Gamblers, make sure to sign up for a FanDuel Sportsbook account right now to place your bet. Remember, use that promo code MOREWAYS1000 to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's easy, it's legal, it is live right now. Take your winnings if you hit and just get your money back in site credit if you don't. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Again, use that promo code MOREWAYS1000. And finally, I want to tell you about the FanDuel Casino app and how you can win a share of $1 million prize pool just by playing with us. The FanDuel Casino app is a secure online casino that has the best online gaming action. FanDuel's partnered with the top game developers to give players the most innovative online gaming experience, including live dealers for some of those table games. Tons of fun. There are also a bunch of promotions and bonuses that you can take advantage of, including that $1 million holiday spectacular. All you have to do is opt in daily and place real money casino wagers of at least $50 on the opt-in date. After that, you'll have a chance to be one of the 100 winners selected each day. Play one day or every day through December 19th for your chance to win. FanDuel Casino is available for players 21 or older in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and West Virginia. So download the FanDuel Casino app right now and take advantage of the $1 million holiday spectacular promotion. It's the FanDuel Casino app. And that will do it for us. That is a wrap. Game picks, best bets, DFS. We covered it all here. You know how we do. All right, check everything out on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Use that promo code MOREWAYS1000. From all of us here at FanDuel, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.